Hey guys, and welcome back to Gregtech New Horizons. I have just been doing some building in between episodes, and I actually put the wall on this side of the building. I decided to cap it right here. But yeah, the inside of this place is starting to feel a bit more like a base. I'm quite liking the way this is turning out actually. Last episode, we finally fleshed out our boiler system. We added some redstone controls here to automatically turn on and off the boilers as needed. And we implemented our crop harvester here, which looks like it's actually backed up. Yeah, this log drawer is now full. We need a void upgrade for this thing. So yeah, the plan for this episode is to dive into the MV age. I mentioned that I was going to collect some materials, but I just got a bit carried away with the building, so I think it's time we stop now and actually try to progress here. We are obviously going to need some more aluminium. Looks like we've actually ran out here. I think there's still some in our smeltery. But yeah, since we have a fairly robust steam system, we're going to be using that to power the MV machines, which I'm thinking we set up on this wall here. But before we do anything today, we have to top up our iron reserves. Alright, almost a full brown and yellow limonite vein. We got double layers here cleared out. Oh, look at how menacing this base is looking now. Oh, I'm liking this. But the result of our mining trip here has left us with almost too many ores to carry here. You gotta get all this processed though, but with the steam grinder, it shouldn't take too long. Are you gonna run? Maybe? Oh, there you go. I think the cover on this thing is just a bit slow. Alright, so let's quickly go through the plan for what we're about to do here. That machine is so loud. We are going to be collecting the oil that is right outside our base. That's going to be nice, since it currently obstructs the view of the wall here, which, I mean, of course is unfinished, but yeah, this thing should be gone today. We're then going to be distilling it into sulfuric light fuel, adding hydrogen in the chemical reactor to give light fuel. The light fuel we're just going to store. We are interested in hydrogen sulfide, which we're going to turn into sulfur dioxide, then into sulfur trioxide, finally sulfuric acid, which we're then going to turn into ethylene, and one more chemical reactor somewhere. 40 pages of recipes, yeah. Oh, there it is there. Yeah, for molten polyethylene. So don't worry if you don't follow that right now, it's going to be a little complex. We've got some chemistry to do. And also about 10 machines to build, so yeah. We're also out of circuits, and so I've got a lot of crafting to do here. Alright everyone, so slight change of plan, but the outcome is still going to be the same. Our goal is still to get polyethylene. I've been doing a bunch of preparations and machine crafting here, and a lot of time spent looking through NEI. I think I left some of the machines in here. Yeah, here we go. This is our basic pump. This is how we're going to get the oil. Oh, but this pump needs power. That's right, I forgot about that. And the power is going to require batteries, and batteries need lithium, and we are out of lithium. We have one lithium dust. We have one lithium. That's not enough for a battery. Okay. Actually, what did I just see in there? A sodium battery? Yeah, this is a one-time use thing. This is no good for us. Seem to always forget about something, but we do have to find some sort of salts vein here in the Twilight Forest. We need to process that ore to give us the lithium for our batteries. Oh, another galena vein. Nice, we're going to come back for you later on. So I was in the Twilight Forest for about 40 minutes or so. We're actually back in the overworld here. Not too far from our base. I forgot about this second salt vein, which is... I mean, these salt veins aren't the biggest, but we should have enough lepidolite mixed in here for our needs. Alright, so how exactly does this basic pump work? I mean, if I was to guess, we put it one block above the source block, like so. Oh, we may also need to cover this for the rain. Let's just do that now before we forget and have this whole oil field on fire. So we also have to give this the mining pipe. We'll place our battery buffer on the side here, and we'll use the sodium battery for now, I guess. Alright, battery is draining. Are we getting the oil? Oh yeah, we got our first bucket of oil, and it used a mining pipe. I think we do get these back though when we retrieve the pump. And I brought a tank along, although now that I'm thinking about this, if we use tanks, we're going to have to come up here and manually come and grab the oil. Maybe it's better if we run a pipe over to where we need it. All the debuffs from pollution are starting again. Look at this. Weakness 2, slowness 2, minus fatigue 2. Oh boy. Yeah. Yeah, this boiler is on right now. But yeah, what we're going to be investing in here is the long distance fluid pipeline. And this will pump fluid as fast as we can insert into it. It does take a bunch of steel, but we get 32 long distance fluid pipes for every craft. Well, apart from the fact that it takes pretty much all the steel to our name to make this thing. Actually, is it cheaper than the assembler? Oh, I'm glad I checked actually. Yeah, it is cheaper in the assembler. Oh no, I accidentally made 3. No way. Well, I think we can actually melt it down to get some of the steel back. Oh, look at that. Some of the oil is already gone. Nice. So I think we can just place the controller block on top. This should be receiving oil, I think. Let's run the pipe and then we'll find out. And we're just going for most efficient route here. This is just a temporary pipeline. And do you guys remember the iron tank that used to store the steam? Just on the other side of the smeltery right about here. We should have that somewhere in the chests here. That's going to be perfect to store our steam in. Ah yeah, here it is. I thought maybe I used it for our new steam setup, but no, we still have it here. Oh, look at this guys, pipes are hooked up. It looks a bit of a mess, but we're getting oil. Nice. I think it stopped maybe because the batteries run out. Yeah, it's been at that level for quite a while, but most importantly we have our oil over here, which we can now process. In fact, we may have some lithium coming out of the centrifuge by now. Oh yeah, we got 17 dust, awesome. Send this through the cannon machine. And just to speed things up, I'm just going to take the batteries we already have for LV machines and replace them with the empty ones. Okay, so now that we've got the oil, we have to process it down further. Under the LV tab of our quest book here, there is, I believe, 4 options we can do. I think pretty much all of them are going to be viable for us. And we'll probably need all of them later on, but for now we're just going to be doing sulfuric light fuel. And for this we have to send the oil into a distillery. Actually, do we want it there? Yeah, I think here is going to be fine. We will be ripping the setup out once we get to HV. I think it's HV, when we have access to distillation towers. Oh, and we're also using all LV machines for this, since they're easier to power, and we're going to be limited by the amount of oil we have. So yeah, we're going to put another battery buffer here to power all of these machines. We will also need a steam turbine for this, and we'll have to extend the steam line, which should be through this wall. Somewhere. Yeah, there's the steam pipe right here. So currently it's all on regular potent pipes. We may have to upgrade all of these things, and I didn't even make the right ones. I'm going to make regular potent pipes. We should have quite a big backlog of potent. Okay, I made up the potent pipes and extended the line along here for steam. It's not currently hooked up yet, but I forgot that I already put the battery in here, so we're actually running in the distillery here. This is distilling on circuit 2 to give us the sulfuric light fuel from regular oil. And from here we want to send this into a chemical reactor along with hydrogen. So I think we'll just put it straight into the chemical reactor. I was considering... Wait, did it already go in there? Yeah, it did. I was considering putting a little buffer here, but since we're buffering the oil, I think it's going to be fine just to send it straight to the chemical reactor. But obviously for this recipe here, we also need hydrogen gas. So remember at the start of the episode where we topped up the iron reserves? Well, I'm also going the wrong way here. I specifically went in search for the brown and yellow limonite, which should be processed through our centrifuge by now. Yeah, we got stacks and stacks of this stuff. And this limonite we can actually send through the centrifuge along with some empty cells. And 4 of these dusts is going to give us, well, 1 iron, which is going to be very useful. 1,000 litres of hydrogen and 2 oxygen cells, both of which we're going to be using here in our oil processing. So we're going to call this take 2 of this episode. I actually had the next 15 minutes all edited and recorded, and I watched it back and realised it was just unwatchable. Not because there was anything specifically wrong with it, but I was just rambling to myself for like 40 minutes, so yeah. Anyways, here is polyethylene. So it's not actually as complex as it first may look when you're looking at this thing. We still have our tank of oil here, we're still distilling it down into sulfuric light fuel, except instead of going into the chemical reactor here, I've swapped this out with a fluid canner, which will send it inside the empty cell and we'll have it as item form. Then it goes up a block into a chemical reactor, it gets mixed with hydrogen gas, and the reason we need to put it into the fluid canner here is these chemical reactors are not like community edition. There's no way for us to do a double fluid recipe in these things. We are going to unlock that ability later when we get access to the multi-block chemical reactors, but for these, if you want to do double fluid, you need 1 in these cells. These cells here are just excess since the internal buffer is full. So yeah, above the distillery here is our centrifuge for the limonite dust, which gives us the hydrogen gas, the oxygen cells and the iron dust. Both of the items are sent via a conveyor module up a block into this 1x2 drawer. The limonite dust is pulled from this drawer, which we have to manually fill for now, and this also has a conveyor on the bottom of the drawer to insert into the centrifuge. So the hydrogen gas then gets passed along to this chemical reactor. We have fluid auto output on the left. And the chemical reactor here is making us hydrogen sulfide and light fuel cells. The hydrogen sulfide is being sent via a pump up one block into this ultra low voltage fluid tank just to be buffered for now. And in the intro of the video I mentioned that we were going to be using this hydrogen sulfide to make polyethylene. Actually, we can fill those cells in there. We may still process this down, in fact we definitely will process this down further. But the more efficient way to do this, since we already have this chemical reaction here, is to send the fluid left a block where we input steam. And in this we are doing severely steam cracked light fuel. The cells are then passed back into this fluid canner to be refilled with the sulfuric light fuel. And the steam cracked light fuel is being passed onto this distillery, where it's mixed on circuit 10 to give us ethylene and tiny piles of carbon. The carbon we store in the drawer, and the ethylene we pass into this chemical reactor, where it gets mixed with our oxygen. So the oxygen comes from this drawer here, from the centrifuge for limonite dust. And it was a little bit tricky to actually get this to work. Since we are using a 2x1 drawer, we don't want the iron dust to be picked up by this tin item pipe. So what we got on here is an item filter cover for imports, and this way we can specifically filter the oxygen cells. So that's then just passed along the back here into the top of this chemical reactor, where we mix the oxygen and ethylene into polyethylene, which should be automatically sent into this tank. You can set fluid auto output, there we go, and we're buffering polyethylene. So it could do with a few aesthetic upgrades and improvements, but honestly I don't mind the steam pipe across the top like this. Also, I bet there's like a million quests we missed here. 48 light fuel cells, yeah, we definitely don't have that. I think most of it has been turned into polyethylene by now. You know what, let's get this going again. But we will disable this fluid canner so we can build up the light fuel. The only other thing with this I just now realised is we may want to buffer hydrogen, which means we probably should have left a space in here. But it's a bit late for that now. If we do end up needing hydrogen, we'll make another setup for it. Otherwise, we'll just manually pull out of this thing. That actually may become an issue. We may end up with too much hydrogen here. We'll see. We'll monitor this anyway. Oh yeah, look at all these quests we missed here. I was considering also adding this little facade on the front, using these forged micro blocks. This is going to be a cool way to hide all of these cables. Yeah, that could also be an option. Although I feel like it's too flat like this. I'm not sure I'm a huge fan now that it's in place. So here we are on the very last tin ingot, trying to make up enough empty cells to get the sulfuric light cell quest. And I was digging through some of the LV quests here, and we actually have a choice reward for 64 empty cells. We don't quite have enough distilled yet though. We're like 10 cells short. While I was building the polyethylene setup, I did also load the blast furnace up, but it seems to have stopped, maybe on a server restart. But yeah, we got over a stack of raw aluminium ready to be smelted in this thing. We don't have to monitor the blast furnace anymore since we have pretty much free steam. All that it costs us is a little bit of pollution. And we are way backed up on creosote oil now. Yeah, let's just check our blast furnaces. They're about half full. I come over and refill these things like every hour. I think we need some more charcoal blocks in this one. And you may also recall that I mentioned we'd be putting the MV machines here. I decided after building this wall that I think the MV machines are going to be better suited this way, which means I've got a lot more terraforming to do. We may still raise it up a couple of blocks, but yeah, we definitely don't want it on that high level up there. Oh, and the very last part I didn't mention about this actually is on the left side of this chemical reactor, where we mix the polyethylene. We do have a separate item pipe here which takes the empty cells, and these empty cells come from the oxygen which goes back into this centrifuge to be centrifuged with the limonite dust. So that is this line down the bottom here, and it also hooks up to the same line that imports the limonite. We also now have enough sulfuric light fuel. Oh, and now it wants 48 regular light fuel. Well, we do have the chemical reactor set up for that. We just have to let it go through all this hydrogen. There's our quest. Choice reward for oil cells or loot bag. I think we'll take the oil. Obsidian tank or loot bag. We'll take the obsidian tank. Or a circuit actually. Nah, we'll take the tank. But yeah, the next quest it looks like is going to be for our oxygen here, which requires us to get into more MV machines. And yeah, the quest for polyethylene is down here, so we kind of jumped the gun a little bit, but... So before we look into our MV machines, I realised that after crafting all of those ones over there for polyethylene, our supplies on most materials are running quite low. Thankfully we do have a bunch of aluminium we can use, but I think instead of rushing the MV machines, we're going to invest in a way to actually gather resources more easily. And that is going to come in the form of an MV miner. So these things, the good miner, I think there is an LV version, but we may as well make the MV one, it's going to be faster for us. So for this thing we're going to need one more machine hull, a handful more MV motors, some small aluminium gears so that we can craft 2 pistons. So we need 2 circuits for this, and we have 3. This is our last 3 MV circuits to work with here. The other part we need here is the sensor. Oh, another circuit here, which takes a flawless emerald. I don't think we have a flawless emerald anywhere. What's this? Exquisite? Can we make this flawless? Oh, we can with the hammer. 2 flawless emeralds. And there's our first MV sensor. I think we'll have to pick this up for the quest. There it is. And with that we can pick up the miner. We will need some storage for this thing, so I think we'll just borrow this diamond chest that's up here. It's not really doing much right now. So this machine also requires some mining pipe, which we get from the quest reward. MV loot bag. A solar engine. And of course we will need a way to power this miner, so I made up this basic combustion generator. Just at LV, since it only takes 32 EU a tick. I don't think there's much of a reason for us to provide this with MV power. But as for fueling the combustion generator, well, we can use our light fuel cells here that we have in our new machine setup. In fact, we may want to grab a few more of these. Yeah, you know what, let's manually fill this in, just so that we can get some more light fuel cells. And I have this chemical reactor turned off. Alright, we are ready to begin our mining operations. And the thing we're going to be mining for first is some more copper. We always seem to run out of copper. And I think finding a tetrahedrite vein in the nether is going to be our best bet. We have found one previously down here, but this is mostly empty from manual mining. Aha, we found it. We found it somewhere. Wait, is it in the ceiling? Yeah, we're about 300 blocks away from the portal that way. You know what, I think it is above us here, but I just heard a few ghasts. We definitely want to be careful here. Okay, I think we're safe. Now just to find this ore vein. Oh, you know what? I was actually wrong. It looks like it is below us. This is bedrock up here. Although this is a pyrite vein, I think we want to find tetrahedrite, ideally. And this glider is a lifesaver in the nether especially. Well, it took me a while to find it. And this is where the ore finder one is going crazy, but look at this, we got a fresh tetrahedrite vein. Yeah, right here is the center of this chunk, and bedrock is right above us, so we should catch all the ores if we place our miner down. So we place the miner, chest on top, combustion generator on the side, and we feed this the mining pipes, and I think we just have to power this combustion generator. Turn on the automatic output, and this should put everything in the chest. Oh, look at that, it's been like 30 seconds. This is so much more efficient than manual mining. Okay, let's drop the rest of these cells in, chunk load the area, and we'll give it a waypoint as well. And we'll come back and check on this thing in, I don't know, an hour or two maybe? Now we just have to find a way to get back to the portal. We are like 600 blocks away. Alright, we made it back from our little trip in the nether. Oh, that's a weird visual glitch. You see that on the axe with the chests? And yeah, first order of business is to craft up some more of these MV machines. I wanted to get this miner going since we definitely would run out, but I think we may manage to scrounge up enough for 1 or 2 of these things. But first of all, we need more circuits. I mean, we do have 37 LVs here, which is I think the last of them. Yeah, I believe it is, but of course we're going to need MV circuits for MV machines. Let's see what we've got already. It may be time for me to reorganize some of these chests, but we got 8 diodes it looks like. I think we're out of circuit boards though. Yeah, these are the LV ones. You know what, now that we've unlocked polyethylene, do we have access to these cheaper circuits down here? Rather than doing it the expensive way we have been making them? It looks like we need access to silicon first of all, which I'm assuming needs the electrolyzer. So yeah, I think we're going to have to do maybe 1 or 2 more batches the expensive way first. And we also need more diodes, which we can just buy. So I think we will just keep buying these diodes. Oh, it's the green technician coins that we need. Yeah, we only get 8 at a time and it has a cooldown on it, so we can't just keep spamming this quest until we run out of coins. But I still think this is a worthwhile trade rather than trying to search for gallium arsenide. So I'm trying to decide how many circuits we should go for here. And I definitely want to make up enough to get the assembling machine at MV tier, while also having enough to pick up a few more of these MV machines, primarily the electrolyzer and the bending machine I think we want. Maybe we actually want a fluid solidifier as well. Yeah, you know what, I think we'll aim for 14 circuits here to start us off. And we will need some more diodes for this. I wonder if we have any more gallium arsenide. I think we're a bit short here. We only have 3 tiny piles of arsenic dust. And no more gallium arsenide that I can see anyway. Yep, it doesn't exist. We don't have it. Maybe the miner will pick it up in the nether actually. Oh, 4 circuits from a loot bag? Well, I'll take that I guess. And some more flawless emeralds. And lithium, wow. Our luck's turning, boys. Our luck is turning. Alright, with a bit of crafting out of the way and all of our aluminium supply now depleted, we can make our advanced assembling machine. And I also went ahead and crafted the electrolyzer MV tier. I think we should get an extra loot bag for this assembling machine as well. An industrial diamond. Can we use this for anything right now? I'm not sure, but we'll definitely hold on to it. So yeah, we ended up getting a few circuits actually from a few of these quests. The robot arm gave us 2 circuits. We got 4 from that loot bag we opened. And we also made up 7 manually. I'm waiting on some more diodes opening up for that quest to get any more. So we do have a couple more to work with, but yeah, as I mentioned, our aluminium is almost at 0. Although we do have some coming out of our smeltery here, which actually comes from the lathe. So whenever we make aluminium rods through that thing, we get, I think, 1 or 2 aluminium dust. This aluminium dust we can't yet just put straight in the blast furnace, as this takes a higher heat capacity. But we can run it through the smeltery to give us the raw aluminium, and then just put the raw aluminium in our blast furnace here. But yeah, now that we have MV machines, we can get aluminium a little bit easier with the electrolyzer. But we will need somewhere to set this up, and I did say earlier on that I was going to put it this way, and that was the original plan. In fact, I already started digging out this area. But while I was doing some crafting, I think I decided that we're going to change things up a bit here. Again. So as you can see, some things have moved around. I switched the location of the staircase over to the other side, and we're going to lead this up some steps here to have a second level. I think the space we're standing in, I want to leave quite open. Oh, and we also got an order node right there as well, you see that? It's quite difficult to see, but yeah, this could be useful. I'm not sure exactly what it contains. But yeah, as for the MV machines, I think we'll put them in this little box here. This is going to be non-specific setups. Things like our assembling machine, the extruder that we have through here. I keep forgetting we can make rods 1 to 2 in this thing, but yeah. I always go back to using the lathe since it's there, but yeah, things like the extruder. I want to also grab an arc furnace, so I have the materials here for it. The only thing we're missing is a cell of graphite. We have found a diamond, graphite and coal vein, so we did have quite a lot of graphite ore. It's just all unprocessed right now. But yeah, this allows us to grab the arc furnace. Oh, it even gives us the cell back. How generous. I don't think this is a quest, but I decided to pick this up at MV since we can do some unique recipes. So the arc furnace does require oxygen to run. We should have some in this chemical reactor here we can use, yeah. And since this is still the only place we're generating MV power, we're once again going to switch out this extruder. With the arc furnace, no explosions, that's good. And the first recipe we're going to process in this is annealed copper. And yeah, the arc furnace takes, I think, 3 amps. So it's a very, very power hungry machine. Yeah, down here is actually the quest for the basic arc furnace, which we skipped over. The reason I wanted to grab the arc furnace so early is to make wires out of this thing. And think of the annealed copper as almost the MV equivalent of the tin wire. This does have some loss per block, but we don't have access to the lossless cables yet. This requires superconductor base. Although now that I just quoted these, maybe we don't want the 1X. I think we're going to want bigger cables to run the power through. As similar to the LV machines, we are going to want some batteries hooked up to the system. And I didn't actually pay attention to this before, but if we look at the recipe for the medium battery hull, which is at least the one we need to use for MV, this does require us to have molten polyethylene. And well, we're in luck. We have tons and tons of it over there. Wait a second, are we required to have annealed copper as well? Oh no, we can use regular copper cable. And some battery alloy. We should have still some battery alloy, yep. And it doesn't even need our MV assembling machine either. We can do this at LV. 80 seconds per recipe, but I think we'll just batch craft a fair number of these medium battery hulls. And this time for the battery buffer, I think we're going to go for the 9 slot version. So yeah, now what we need to do is hook up all of our machines here. And we'll also have to run the steam cable over. Although I was thinking about maybe separating it out and adding a separate steam line just for these MV machines. Yeah, which is exactly what I've just added here to this setup. It took me like an hour to finish all this, but yeah. We've installed a new steam pipe here, which is a separate line to the one that the LV machines are using. That feeds into 2 steam turbines. I crafted another one of these things. And then the 2 steam turbines are pointed into our medium voltage battery buffer, and then output to 8x annealed copper cable here, which is super expensive, but yeah. I think it's going to be worth it. It means that we can run our machines all at once. So currently we have 3 lithium batteries made up, which can hold 4 times the number of each LV battery. So we're going to be storing a lot of power in that battery buffer right there. However, we are now out of lithium. And instead of going for another lepidolite ore like we did earlier on, now that we have the MV electrolyzer, what am I looking for here? Clay dust? Yes, this stuff. Now that we have MV electrolysis going, we can electrolyze this on circuit 1. Oh right, of course, we need the batteries in here. Make sure this is output into the cable. The lights are on the electrolyzer, this is a good sign, and we're getting sodium, lithium, alumina, and silicon dioxide, and no more power. Yeah, this arc furnace eats all the power. That's exactly why we need all the batteries there. And in fact, we may actually be experiencing some power loss. No, that can't be. No, surely it doesn't draw that much power. Yeah, we are going to be fine. It's just because we only have the one battery in there right now, so it's only drawing one, or it's only outputting 1 amp of MV, is the way I understand it. But yeah, this gives us water, which we may actually store and use. Although most likely we'll just end up with a trash can next to this. There is our 4 lithium batteries, should be a quest. And I believe there's also one for the battery buffer. Let's grab that before we fill all the batteries up. Let's see, how difficult is the trash can to make? I don't suppose it would be default recipe, would it? No, of course not. Iron plate and an ender pearl. And to get the fluid version we need to use obsidian tanks, but we have batch crafted a few earlier on. Alright, there it is. We have maybe a few too many trash cans. Probably shouldn't have made that many with the ender pearls we have. But this for now we're just going to put on the side of the electrolyzer, so that we can fluid automatically output to the left hand side. And I just realised we'll need a conveyor for this to pull the items to the chest. Alright, there's 2 LV conveyors for now. I don't really think we need the increased capacity of the MV ones. And most likely we'll have a dedicated electrolyzer one day for electrolyzing clay dust. And with this we can just batch craft a bunch of alumina, which we can use for aluminium. We do still have to add cryolite to this until we can get to HV, where we can just electrolyze it once again for aluminium dust. But we did find another cryolite vein in the Twilight Forest we can go back for. But yeah, other than that we have to send a bunch more copper through the arc furnace for our annealed copper, finish off the rest of this wiring to go all the way around. And yeah, after today and all this crafting, a lot of these output chests needs to be sorted out. Things have turned into a little bit of a mess, organisation wise. Yeah, I've got a lot of sorting to do. So to finish out the episode, let's go check on our miner in the Nether. If I can remember how to get back there. I think this was the tunnel I dug. Yeah. Our miner should be right through this wall here. I ended up extending the tunnel all the way along here. I think we're 420 blocks away from the portal. There it is. Let's see the fruits of our labour here. Lovely, 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 lovely. Look at all of that tetrahedrite. And remember, this we can double, or actually we could even triple this in the blast furnace, can't we? In any case, that is a very, very decent haul. How much of our fuel did we go through? Oh, we still have quite a bit of it left even. Oh yeah, look at this. We also got some real gar. That's going to be important for the next batch of circuits, or the next recipe for the circuits. So I think the next episode tomorrow is going to be a live stream. If you'd like to tune into that, it's going to be 12 until 5 GMT. I think we'll just be working to upgrade the systems that we already have. There won't be much progression. We may do some building as well. But yeah, we've got all of this copper to process. That's going to do it. This is going to do us for a good while, I would say. And I'll probably end up moving the miner over to a magnetite vein. We are pretty much almost out of gold and iron, so yeah, any one of these veins is going to do us quite nicely. But yeah, that is going to do us for today. Thank you again for watching, and I'll see you all tomorrow for some more Gregtech New Horizons.